Hey folks, this is Gino Nicoli. I am the co-founder of MoleculeMinions.com and the MarketingBlackSheep.com. And I wanted to do a video today on focusing on your network marketing business and understanding the 3 positions in network marketing that most people will never explain to you. It's truly the secret between making a little bit of money and making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year or over $1 million a year. Now, of course, last week I did a video on growing your business both width and depth and how you use that technique to create accelerated growth in your business and how you truly get your business to explode. But just to give you a little bit of my background, I've been in network marketing for 30 plus years. And in 2003, I started a new program from my home in my garage. I was at the point where I was 90 days behind on a mortgage. I couldn't pay my bills. It was crazy. I scraped together every nickel I could, and I started another MLM business model program. Kind of crazy. Did it anyway. But within 12 months, we did over $1.8 million in sales. Now, I only personally recruited about 79 people total over the course of several years. And let me tell you what happened. Inside of the first 12 months, we did $1.8 million, okay? Within 24 months, we were doing over $6.28 million a year. And within 3 years, we were doing in excess of $15 million a year. We totaled out at $79.6 million in sales. And I did that starting from absolute scratch with no more than a total of 150 total personal recruits. And the reason I was able to make that happen was understanding the 3 positions in this business and how important they are in getting exponential growth in this business. Now, I've taught over 379,000 people all over the world how to do these same things. I currently have over 25,000 active students on the MarketingBlackSheep.com, but I wanted to give you guys just some window in. So let's talk about these 3 positions, because this is the most critical critical mass, if you will, in your network marketing program that makes a difference between making a little bit of money or making 50 grand a year or even 100 grand a year and literally being able to make $500,000 or over $1 million a year. It's the exact same thing that any of your 7-figure earners in this business do on a regular basis. They're the master of the 3rd position. We're going to teach you all 3 today. So the first position in network marketing, when you first get into business and you sign up, at that point, in my opinion, you are position number 1. Now, position number 1 is called the salesman, and we want to transition from the salesman into the marketer. Okay, a salesman in network marketing, if they're lucky, might make about 10, maybe 20 grand a year, full time. Okay, it's a crazy way to make a living. Now, a lot of you don't have sales experience. That's a great thing. And those of you who have sales experience, the transition from salesman to marketer is a tricky one. But to make it simple and easy to understand, your job when you first get into your business is to become a marketer. And the biggest difference between a salesman and a marketer looks like this. If you're warm market, your friends and family, neighbors, connections in business, that kind of stuff, if they no longer want to hear about your next opportunity, you're being a salesman, okay? If that warm market's burned and, you know, when I go to my family dinners and stuff back in the day, I used to have to get invited to the kids' table. Nobody wanted to have me at the adult table because they knew I was going to pitch them, okay? If people know you're going to pitch them, that's a salesman. All right. A marketer becomes somebody who is attracting their business. You know, there's the attracting factor, Bob Proctor, there's a ton of stuff out there. But as a marketer, your job is to draw people to you. Now, of course, in our teams in the field, we do that using inbound call systems. It's ridiculous. We generate over 10,000 incoming calls a month for all of our distributors on our team. If you want to see how we do that, you can check out MoleculeMinions.com. If you want to do it in your own business, in your own network marketing, you got to start outbound first. You got to start reaching out to people. But what you do when you're introducing what you're trying to do is that a salesman or somebody who's trying to be a salesman or even trying to avoid being a salesman It's your natural tendency to overtalk. You're nervous, you're apprehensive, you're scared of your prospect a little bit, right? So you're trying to break conversations and you end up talking about your company or your product or your service. And now your prospect has the opportunity to tell you that they're not interested before you ever get that first exposure. That's the biggest, single, most fatal mistake that a new network marketer makes, is that they talk too much, they share too much before they get their prospect, friend, family, or stranger, into their funnel of exposure. Whether you're going to do videos or a website or a data capture page or an audio commercial, which is my favorite, it doesn't matter. Your job is to transition into a marketer. A salesman, what they're going to try to do and what you try to do when you get involved in your companies is you're so proud of your company, you think it's the greatest product or service ever, that there's nothing like it, that your compensation plan is great, and that you have all of these advantages compared to anyone else. That's hogwash. Okay? It's just not true. It doesn't matter how good your product or service is. Gary Dahl proved that in 1976 when he sold 4.6 million pet rocks for $15 a piece. Okay? It's not about your product or service. It's about learning to become a marketer. So a salesman, what we try to do is we try to talk to everybody and convince them that they have a need, want, or desire for what we're marketing. Okay? And then once we create that artificial need, want, or desire, then we try to take them to a meeting or a website or a presentation or have them listen to an audio commercial. But they weren't that interested to begin with, and you can't keep them in the funnel that way, and you end up offending people. You end up hurting feelings, and then you're losing your ground. Okay? You see, what a marketer does is a marketer looks to find people who already have an interest in what you're doing before you say hello. Now, when you're a verbal marketer, when you're doing this over the phone or you're doing it face-to-face or person-to-person, it's tricky because you have to ask somebody a question to determine if there was an interest already there. Now, if you want to learn how to do that, you can come to a free class I do for the entire industry at themarketingblacksheep.com on Wednesday evening. But tonight I just want to talk about the positions themselves and how you elevate and escalate into those positions. And then you can come find more information either by becoming part of our team at moleculeminions.com or going to a free class. If you're doing your own business and don't want to be on our team, you can do that at themarketingblacksheep.com. Okay? So once you know you're a marketer, it's really easy because a marketer gets things, but a salesman always has to give things. So you'll know when you're becoming a marketer, when you're able to ask a simple question or do a simple one-question ad that gets response. That means you're learning to identify people that already have a pre-existing interest in what you're doing. It's brilliant, okay? And that makes you a marketer. Now, as a marketer in network marketing or in a home-based business, you can expect to earn about $50,000 a year, part-time. Maybe as much as $100,000 a year, but as a marketer, you're dependent primarily on what you're doing. In other words, the sales that you generate, okay? And this is why salesmen in this industry struggle so much because that's all they are used to focusing on. I've been in sales all my life. My father and grandfather were all in sales, and I didn't want to be a salesman. It took me 20 years to make that transition because it's my natural gut instinct and tendency to focus on what I personally can generate. Well, in network marketing, it's the most perfect business model in the world. You see, what you and I can generate, that attitude, is what makes big companies gigantic companies. Capitalism, dog eat dog, competition. But you see, network marketing is based on the business model that those big companies use to become that big. They don't use dog eat dog. They don't use competition. What they do is try to deliver a greater value proposition to their end consumer than their competition. When you and I end up getting more than what we feel we're paying for, that's a perfect value proposition. That's what creates explosive growth like Apple or IBM or some of the newer companies in the tech world and manufacturing world. In the automobile world, we're seeing it with companies like Tesla. When a client gets more than he thinks he's paying for, that's a perfect value proposition. But in the big corporate world, it's still dog-eat-dog competition. You're still trying to beat your competition. You're still trying to put everybody else out of business and just allow your business to dominate everything. You see, the beauty of network marketing is that you get the opportunity to invest in people, to invest in yourselves, and to help other people invest in themselves and their skill set. And it's that investment and it's that focus on fulfilling one of my mentor's favorite statements, which is the more people you help get what they want, the more you get what you want, says Zig Ziglar. That's why Zig Ziglar loved network marketing, because it is the perfect business model for the perfect value proposition. You're investing in people instead of just a product or service. And by investing in people and helping them learn to distribute a product or service, we provide the greatest economic availability in this country. It's why network marketing has made more millionaires than any other industry in the United States, okay? So now you're a marketer. You're able to generate sales. You're able to get people to purchase your product or your service or get into business. And that's great, but you're going to top out on your very best full-time cycle at about $100,000 a year. And then you're going to find somebody who can teach you how to get to position number 2. Position number 2 is becoming a recruiter. Now, if you have sales experience, you're going to cut your teeth and cut your nose off to spite your face right here, okay? Because salespeople hate transitioning into recruiting. It's extremely taxing. It doesn't make sense. You end up making less money, but you're spending more time and you can't figure out why. Well, the number 2 position breaks you into the 6-figure plus income category. I can tell you, that's well worth it. You see, what a recruiter is doing is a recruiter is now exhibiting patience and kindness and a concern for each person that they're bringing in for their benefit, for their progress, and for their success as becoming a marketer. Now, that means 80% of the time, you're going to waste your time as a recruiter. That's how it works. There's no cheat in the math. The 80-20 rule is a rule. It's not a myth, meaning 80% of the entire population of people will never, ever make an effort to actually do something beyond what is absolutely necessary. That won't make it work. But 20% of the people that you bring into business will actually take action. And half of them will actually be able to duplicate and replicate what you're doing. Now, if you're able to enroll, say, 1 or 2 people a week, after a month, you'll have 40 or 50 people. And out of that, you'll have 4 or 5 of them who will now start doing their 1s and 2s a week. So that month 2, you're now doing 40 up to 120 incoming sales a month. You think that's a game changer to your income? I guarantee it. Okay? So transitioning to a recruiter is difficult, whether you have experience in sales or you don't, because you stop spending so much of your time focused just on what you can do and start focusing your time on what you can help other people do. And the way I look at when I'm working on being a recruiter, when I was developing that phase of my business experience, what I did was I tried to remember that every single person that I bring into business, I'm inviting them to this beautiful dinner buffet that has everything of food on that table that anybody could ever want, and a ton of things on the food table that a lot of people don't want, okay? And your job as a recruiter, as you're bringing those people in, is to have that table completely set for them that allows them to automate their systems to become successful as a marketer, so that everybody you're bringing at the table can either partake and fill their plate or sit back and be grumpy about the lima beans and the Brussels sprouts that they don't want to eat, okay? And so that's a tough part of being a recruiter, is that 80% of the time that you're spending feels like wasted time, because 8 out of the 10 people that you bring into business aren't going to do anything, but you have to treat all 10 of the people you bring in exactly the same. You have to be available all the time. You have to listen to their problems all the time. You have to separate the ones that are time wasters from the ones that are worth the investment, and that's how you sift and find those 2 in 10 that are going to take action. And once you do that, then you get to go to position number 3. And position number 3, When I founded that, when I started that other networking program in 2003, it took us 2 years to get to position number 3. And our income literally grew 5 times a year annually, over and over again. As a builder, you get to look forward to $1 million a year income. How do you do that? Well, your job as a builder now becomes a little more simplified, because now as a builder, you get to focus on teaching other people how to be marketers and then helping other people transition from marketers to recruiters. And that makes you a builder. If you look at all of the $1 million earners in network marketing and you ask them, if you polled them all, how many personal recruits do they have? How big is their team? They're all going to tell you essentially the same math I just told you that happened to me 10 years ago. Okay? In other words, personally, in a 5-year time period, the average 7-figure earner is going to personally recruit no more than about 300 people. You can ask Eric Worre, you can ask Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, you can ask Zig Ziglar, you can ask Randy Gage, Brian Tracy. Any of the greatest income earners and trainers and teachers in this business will tell you that math is consistent. In a 5-year time period, about 300 people. You know what that means? That means if you average that out, all they're really doing is about 1 or 2 people a week. Now, I know if you haven't put more than 1 or 2 people in your business in the entire last 6 months that you've been in an MLM, or even in a year, that seems like a gargantuan number. You need to find somebody that can teach you how to flip that math, because to be able to recruit 1 or 2 people a week is not that big a deal. You need 10 to 15 closing attempts a week of people who are qualified and who are actually interested before you said hello in what you're offering. That'll get you that 1 or 2 a week. That will get you 300 recruits in a 5-year time period. And then here's my favorite part. You don't have to worry about the math from there. As long as you learn how to be a recruiter, and then as long as you learn how to be a builder, out of those 300 people, you're going to have 5 or 6 that will absolutely take off and duplicate and replicate the same thing as you, rising up from a salesman into a marketer, and then from a marketer into a recruiter, and then from a recruiter into a builder. In fact, if you ask every single multimillionaire in network marketing, they will tell you that they only have less than 10 people that they personally recruited that made them their $1 million a year plus income. Those are the facts. And that's how you do it. Those are the 3 positions that you have to learn. If your upline and your trainers and your companies are not teaching you how to do that, you've got to go find a way to learn how to do that. The secret to network marketing is not your product or service, it's not your company, it's not your comp plan, and it's not your upline unless they're able to identify those 3 positions and they're a builder and can teach you how to do the same thing, or plug you into the builder in their upline that can teach you those things. Without those things, ladies and gentlemen, without understanding those positions and rising up, the very best you'll ever do is about 50 grand a year, and most of you will never ever even hit that number. In fact, there's a failure rate of over 98% in this industry simply because of 2 facts. 1, 80% of you watching this video right now, even if you're in an MLM, will not take the action necessary, and there's nothing anybody can do to help you, because until you get it between your ears, you will never get it between your fingertips. And the second biggest thing that leads to failure in this business is that you're not working with the right people. You didn't choose your sponsor chose you. And instead of reaching out and reaching beyond your sponsorship, you suffer through working with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope today has been helpful. If you want some more resource and information, if you want to become part of our team, you can go to moleculeminions.com. And if you've got your own networking and that's the one you're married to and you want to learn how to become a builder yourself, go to themarketingblacksheep.com, sign up for class. It's free. It's live every Wednesday night, and I would love to meet and help you like I've done for tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in this business before you. Until then, folks, have a great rest of your week. Talk soon.